blowing about, I want to say 40 knots. It is nasty.
What's an angler to do in Southern California with weather like this? It's been miserable, and it's still windy today, but Anthony Magdalena perhaps came up with an answer. He said, I'm going to go back in the back bays. I'm going to use some of the Berkeley camo worm gulp, and I'm going to catch some spotted bay bass. Spotted bay bass are a great sport fish here in Southern California. They fight harder than anything you could ever imagine. Pound for pound, they'll put up a real tussle. They're fun to catch and even more fun to release. Nice going, Anthony. It may be windy out, but anglers can still find something to do. Pulling on spotted bay bass in the wind here in Southern California.
Hey, good Wednesday evening, everybody. Phil Friedman here in Surfside, California, with a gorgeous sunset taking place here. It's beautiful. It is still windy. It's blowing me around pretty good here. 15, maybe gusting to 20 here in Surfside right now. And I'll go over the weather with you all, talk a little bit more about what we anticipate for tomorrow. And then I want to talk to you a little bit more about our Island Spirit trip on Friday. Captain Daniel Hadaway and I went live today, but unfortunately, some of the tackle tips he was giving were inaudible, so I'll have some information on that and the plan that we have for you. Don't forget, hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it when you're able to do that. Make sure you share these videos and podcasts with a friend. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel and tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there's new content available for you. You can follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Instagram. It is great to be with you all. Well, it is capping out there a little bit. It is still pretty snotty around here, and it's going to remain that way, it sounds like, into tomorrow. If you're fishing the coastal areas, you know, like the Native Son trying to get out and catch a halibut, or the Monte Carlo going out to catch some rockfish, it is possible. It's probably going to be rolly, though, and there is still going to be some wind. Up in the Channel Islands, however, it's an entirely different situation. In fact, the Island Spirit just threw the towel in on their trip tomorrow with Western Outdoor News. They threw the towel in. It just looked like it was not going to calm down at all. And our trip, it's going to be windy right up until that morning when we depart, and then it's going to stay nice until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's going to blow up again. It seems like we've got that window where we can pull this off. Now, the last thing I want to do is take you out there and roll you around and not catch anything. The other thing that goes into a charter master's mind, like me, is, God, all these people have planned for this day and everything else. And, you know, I don't want to cancel the trip because of weather that's a little iffy. You know, if it's fishable and we can go out there and have some fun and catch some fish, we're all about that. And ultimately, I'll leave that in the hands of the captain. And as of today, Daniel Hadaway said, we're go. I think we can pull this off. In fact, we're going to head up to the west end of Santa Cruz. That's the plan, at least. And we're going to fish deep water cod. So in that case, you're going to need like a 16-ounce torpedo sinker or something like that. You want to have a heavier sinker for sure. Even heavier than that might be in order with, you know, kind of windy conditions. Although we're not going to have much wind at all while we're out on the water. Coming home, we might get a little bit of that. And then in addition to that, we're going to fish into the shallows. So like 4 and 6 ounce torpedo sinkers might make a halibut drift or two, might fish whitefish and sheephead. So we might get that combo trip of the deep water cod and also the shallow water sheephead, whitefish, even a halibut or two. So we have kind of a combo trip planned right now. So you're going to want to have that kind of tackle, something to drift for halibut. Sometimes you'll need a 6, 8 ounce torpedo, and other times a 4 ounce will suffice. It's all going to be up to Mother Nature. And of course, we're watching this very, very closely. If you're on that trip, I'll be reaching out to you tomorrow again. And once again, if you want to jump to the front of the line, just send me a text. Say, Phil, I'm on that trip with you. What's up? And I can get you tackled up. But that's the tackle right now. If there's any last minute changes or anything, I will definitely be letting you know, because we have been dealing with some ferocious winds here in SoCal. But right now, we are a go on the Island Spirit It looks like the first day when a lot will get accomplished because it has been really, really bad. Hey, I got a nice note from a couple of really great people. Adriana Russ, how about that 8.5 pound bass at Irvine Lake? That is a beautiful fish on a swim bait and only 5 pound test. And her hubby here recently, well, he wasn't going to be outdone, but he still was kind of outdone. Eddie, nice catch. Eddie had a 5.5 pound bass there at Irvine. So husband and wife doing quite well on the bass there at Irvine Lake. 5 pound test, 8.5 pound bass. Adriana, that is one heck of a catch. I think Eddie owes you a really nice dinner here one of these nights on that one. Good going, you guys. Thanks for sharing that. For all the other info that we cover, on the morning briefing, I will defer you over there to the morning briefing. We covered Mexico. We covered the long range situation. The Royal Polaris in today, offloading, the Independence arriving on Hurricane Bank. We'll have more updates on that. One thing I will reiterate to you all is that Chef Ed, great guy, wonderful chef on the Independence. He had a family member who became ill, so they were heading down to Hurricane Bank on board the Independence, and he had to get back to San Diego to take care of the family member, to be by their side during this trying time. And it just so happened that the Royal Polaris was coming back up and headed to San Diego. They had to deviate their course, the Independence, that is, about 180 miles, but they were able to make the transfer. Ed got on board the Royal Polaris, arrived in San Diego today, and we keep Ed and all of his loved ones in our thoughts and prayers. And man, I put up a post on Facebook, and it got so much love from all of you, the Friedman Adventures family. Man, that is fantastic. Gusting now to up over 20 knots here on the beach. It's really starting to blow. I was down here at midnight last night. I came in from doing a podcast in Torrance, California, and I said, what the heck? And I came out here, man, it was blowing 40, but it is gusting now. It's really starting to pick up, and I'm looking out there. It's starting to cap a little bit more also. So we're still not out of the woods on this. We'll see how this all plays out. As I say, on the coast, it looks like it'll be halfway decent tomorrow, but we're still dealing with wind in the Channel Islands. Western Outdoor News just pulled the plug on their trip on the Island Spirit tomorrow. We need this wind to calm down. If you look a little bit further ahead, like the weekend and into Monday, Tuesday, that looks like it's really going to be beautiful weather. I think that's going to be okay for you all. And I think we're going to be okay on Friday, but we'll keep our eyes on it. So stay in touch with me, please, out there, everybody. I'll be reaching out to you, but send me a text if you're on that trip, just so I make sure I'm in contact with everybody. 657-227-6459. Don't forget the El Patron. She's getting new engines in, and she's going to be running to Catalina Island here out of Long Beach Sport Fishing. That is www.longbeachsportfishing.org. And here in the Southern California coast, it's surf fishing season. And man, I'll tell you, nobody better than SoCal Surf Fishing Headquarters. Big fish, bait and tackle, right down there. 10-minute walk from here, down on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. They've got all your surf fishing stuff, but they also have all your bluefin tuna stuff. You're fishing marlin, you're fishing, pretty much anything. Yellows or bass or whatever, you'll be able to get it at Big Fish. Bait and tackle. Bait and tackle. So good stuff. Don't forget also that my co-host Paulina in Ensenada, Baja California, had a great couple of days with her, eating in local restaurants, going to Husong's Cantina, sitting down at the docks and talking to the captains as they came in after catching lings and rockfish and a few yellows. Really all good stuff. We're going to take you down with us, and it is going to be fun. If you'd like information on our September trip, it's going to be great. September 19th through the 21st, we'll be in beautiful Ensenada. You can join us. Of course, we'll get together on Friday, then we'll go fishing on Saturday. You can fish again on Sunday if you like. You can stay another day if you like. It's gonna be fantastic. And I could send you information as soon as we firm up the details. But if you'd like to get on that list, just send me a text, 657-227-6459, and I'll get you up to snuff on that. All right, so still windy up in the Channel Islands, that is for sure. It is hooting up there, hooting to the point where the Island Spirit is not going to get off the docks tomorrow. Friday, we are a go, 6 a.m. departure, fishing shallow water rockfish, even some halibut, and be ready to fish, 400 or 500 feet of water. Should we do that? Again, it looks like we have a nice window where there's not going to be any wind. I should say any wind, less than 8-10 knots for the vast majority of our trip. That wind will pick up in the return trip, but we're done fishing at that point, so you might get a little knocked around. Be there at 5 a.m. at Ventura Sport Fishing. 5 a.m. is when we'd like you to be there so you can check in with Saul in the office. And if there's any changes, I don't control Mother Nature, ladies and gentlemen. If there's any changes, we will be making those tomorrow afternoon. So stay in touch with the evening briefing, with the morning briefing, and any other shorts. You can get this all on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, right here on YouTube. It's always our pleasure to keep you in touch with the very, very latest. Thanks, everybody. Kind of chilly down here, too, but it's definitely blowing, and not as bad as last night, but we'll see. These winds could intensify a little bit here this evening. We'll watch that for you very, very closely. Can't thank you enough for taking a little bit of time out of your busy evening this morning, this evening. Taking time out of your busy evening this morning. I'm losing it. Good to be with you all. Thanks for all your thoughts and prayers for Ed, all the great stuff you do out there. And of course, I'll be right back here in the morning for the morning briefing. All right, have a great one, and I hope to see you really, really soon. Hey everybody, Phil Friedman here, moving up on midnight, Surfside, California. It is blowing about, I want to say 40 knots. It is nasty. There's sand blowing and a really nasty looking ocean behind me, which I doubt you can see. My friend Chuck Zimmer sent me some video from Redondo Beach, California. He said it was blowing 50 miles an hour there. It's really nasty, and I just wanted to kind of illustrate that to you all. I'm not real comfortable standing here with these big combers coming up on the beach. Small craft advisories in effect here in Southern California. Really nasty, blowing sand, heavy seas, a lot of wind. Southern California being battered here this evening. I'm going to get the heck out of here.